All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am joined by one of Louisiana softball's star players, Cajuns Jr. Jourdyn Campbell. Jourdyn, first of all, just thank you for your time.
Oh, no, thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. Has it kind of settled in now, the high of knowing that you guys are going to a super regional?
A little bit. I know we're still on it. I mean, even today, like getting to be at practice and our season's still continuing, it feels amazing.
Let's go back to high school. You start off at Channelview, you play there for a season, and then you decide to transfer over to Kingwood. What kind of went into that decision for you, and just what type of player was Jourdyn Campbell back in high school?
Back at that time, we decided to move to Kingwood. It was a better neighborhood. It also academically was just a better school for me, and also the softball program was a little bit better, so we decided to pick up and move over there. And I mean, once I got there, it was a great team. It was a very talented team. We had a Baylor pitcher. We had Haley Lee, who is at OU right now, and it was a great decision. It definitely has helped me become the player I am today, playing with players like that. So it was the right decision.
Do you feel like going to that school, I guess, helped you to see great competition? So when you got to Texas A&M, when you got to Louisiana, you were kind of accustomed to seeing great players.
Definitely, definitely. I feel like the atmosphere of that team and just the district and making it to postseason all the time, getting to play that competition, it definitely helps you get prepared for big moments, because I feel like once you start that young, getting all of that, the accolades, the recognition and things like that, it makes it easier to come in and to your college and perform at a high level.
And then from there, you decide to go on your official visits. I think I read that you only took one official visit to Texas A&M, and you instantly committed. Just what made you fall in love with Aggieland?
So I actually originally committed to A&M before the high school rule became in place. I committed in the 8th grade, and Coach Jerry Glasgow was the hitting coach at the time, so I was his first recruit there. And really, the reason why I chose that school was it had a lot to do with Coach Glasgow and how he thought of me, what he could do for that program and for me at the time. So that's why I made that decision at such a young age. And when he decided to leave and then go to Auburn and then come here to UL, I decided to stay just because it's what I had known for a very long time. But I mean, you end up where you're supposed to end up, and I followed him here.
So your relationship with him goes even further back than here. That's pretty interesting. I guess knowing the type of person that he is, the type of coach, and the success that he has had, was that in one of the factors of why you decided to come to UL?
Yes, definitely. And I mean, the way he is as a person, for sure. The way he communicated with me, we talked a lot on the phone while I was in the transfer portal, and he saw big things for me. He got me on a visit here immediately, was very patient in letting me go and see other places and things like that, but just continued to push for me to come here and things like that. But it definitely, I mean, when I came on my visit here, we went to his house, and Miss Vicky, his wife, was making us biscuits and gravy. It was a close feeling. It was a family type atmosphere that I couldn't say no to.
So obviously you're at A&M to start off your freshman year and your sophomore year. You get there, you start all 26 games as a freshman. You're third on the team in batting average. I think second on the team in doubles. All of these great things going on, and then, like you mentioned, you have an eye injury that you're dealing with going into your sophomore year. Your stats take a little bit of a dip. Just how difficult was it playing with, what was the type of eye injury, and how difficult was it playing with that?
So I had a corneal ulcer in my right eye. It was very difficult. I was in a lot of pain. For a minute, I could not be in direct sunlight or any light, really. I had to stay in the dark and take a lot of pain meds. I was in a lot of pain. But once I got the opportunity to start playing, I still couldn't wear my contacts for a while, so I was playing in glasses, which that was probably very difficult because they weren't necessarily sports goggles. They were some cheap glasses I had ordered online just to have, when you're about to fall asleep and you have to take your contacts off. So it was a difficult experience. It definitely helped me grow as a person, and I wouldn't change having that injury. it did a lot for me. It made me learn a lot about myself, and I mean, that eye injury actually resulted in me entering the transfer portal, so it got me to where I am today.
So because of that injury, that was your decision in hitting the portal?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
And you've mentioned about how Coach Glasgow was an instrumental part in that. I guess when you saw what he was building here at Louisiana, did you feel like this was the place that you could come in, fit right in immediately, and have that similar impact that you had in your first year at A&M?
Absolutely. I had already heard about a couple of the girls coming in. I mean, we had I think the #1 ranked freshman class coming in. There was a lot of hype behind the program. Like when I decided to commit here, a lot of talent involved too. I talked to a couple players before I had made the decision, and I was excited to come here. I had big dreams here, so I was ready to come in and make a difference to this program coming in.
And you get here, and you're Sunbelt Newcomer of the Year. Just a phenomenal season. I think you hit 11 home runs, 392 batting average. Just what was that year like, being able to win another conference championship here? What was that year like for you?
So for me, at A&M, I didn't have the opportunity to finish out my freshman year because of COVID, and then I had entered the transfer portal my second year. So last year was my first complete season for softball. So getting to be a part of postseason, getting to be a part of the conference championship games and things like that, that was very exciting for me, and it's experiences that I will hold on to for a lifetime. So just to get to do that stuff and do it around the team that we had last year, and obviously the girls we have this year, I wouldn't change it for the world.
And what a lot of people don't know is that you were playing through that season with a lot of pain. You said you tore your MCL. Again, you've experienced pain playing with an eye injury, and now you're dealing with a knee injury. Just what makes you so tough to be able to play through stuff like that?
The majority of that toughness definitely comes from the people I'm around. I would have to say I do it for my teammates. They have my back no matter what. They've helped me through a lot. I mean, I've gone through a lot of highs and lows with that injury, and I've gone through a lot of highs and lows this year, trying to get back on the field mentally with all of that, recovering from the injury and the surgery and stuff. So doing all of that, I mean, my teammates have had my back through it all. They have been so positive when I haven't been, and that's really what makes me so successful.
How difficult is that mentally? I mean, going through injuries, I've experienced a knee injury, not to the degree of tearing a knee ligament, but just how difficult is that on the mental state? Like, you think you're good, and you don't know if your body's going to give out and all these different things. How difficult is that on you?
It is extremely difficult. I know coming into this semester, this season, having the season I had last year, getting all of the accolades that I did have last year, and working through, walking again, getting cleared to run, getting cleared to practice, getting cleared to play. I know a lot in my mind was, I felt like I was behind. How am I going to catch up to what I was last year? And like I said, again, my teammates really helped me through that. Like, I would not be where I am today without them.
How important was having that close-knit relationship with all of your teammates during those difficult times, being able to tell you, like, hey, you're doing good, hey, you're still a part of this team, and then also having that relationship with Coach Glasgow where he understood the type of player that you were because he recruited you so far back?
It's amazing. I know I would come off the field after practice in tears, frustrated with my performance, frustrated with the abilities that I hadn't quite gained back yet, like running, lateral movements, things like that. And my teammates were the first people there to come pick me up and just help me gain my confidence back into myself. And to have people like that who, it's hard to come and play softball. We're all teammates, but we also do have that competition aspect because we all want to play. We don't come here to sit the bench. So for them to still have that love and support for me, it really means a lot to me.
Another person that you've mentioned has been an instrumental part to your success in life, on the field, off the field, is your dad, a former Rice University basketball player, so he's familiar with sports already, and then he was your travel ball coach growing up. Just what has he meant to you throughout your life, and especially in your softball career as well?
He has meant the world to me. I know, I mean, both of my parents, my sisters, all of them have given up so much for me to live my dreams, do what I do on the softball field. It means the world to me. My dad didn't know a thing about softball. When I was 10 years old, he came to some of my games and said, you know what, if you're going to play this, you're going to be good at it. We're going to get you where you need to go. And from that day forward, he has given up everything just to help me become the player I am today. And it really means a lot to me, the sacrifices that my family has made for me to get where I am. And they don't say anything about it. They love and support me through it all, and I really appreciate it.
When you hit the single, the go-ahead single to go up over LSU in Game 7, I didn't realize it, but I was actually standing right next to him when you hit it, and he was so proud, and he was like, "How about that? How about that?" And then obviously after the game, you guys, share that moment where you're hugging, you're tearing up. I'm sure he was too, and he was telling you things in your ear. I asked you how emotional and how great that was for you, but just to know that you could come up big in that moment, and like you said, he sacrificed so much for you to have opportunities like that. Just was that moment, I guess, a culmination of a lot of hard work and a lot of time spent that people don't see.
Definitely. If only you guys knew the time and effort that my parents, my siblings, like I said, everybody has put into me, my family. I know my dad has, we talk about the two-a-days practices we have out here. I've been doing that since I was 12 years old. He pitches to me for hours and hours and hours, and he worked me hard. And there was tears, there was laughs, there was crying, all of that. But he made me tough, and he is the reason why I am so successful today.
Now let's talk a little bit about the game itself. Obviously, you guys needed 2 wins coming into that Sunday. You had only beaten LSU one time that year back in the regular season, but you had done it in Baton Rouge, so it was no overhyping of, oh, we're going to LSU and we got to beat them here and all of these things like that. You had done it already, but you had to do it twice in one day. Was there just a different mindset for you coming into that day, or were you just the same mentality going in saying that I just got to go out and play and whatever happens, happens?
Yeah, I know I came in that day, and I've struggled a lot this season performance-wise, especially in the beginning, and I feel like a lot of that had to do with me mentally going in and putting too much into the game. Like, when you stress out and you worry too much about softball, that is when you start doing the worst. Your anxiety gets the best of you. Your brain starts going in a million different ways. So I was coming in kind of with a clean mindset. I know I didn't end up starting that first game. So I was on the dugout. I was there to just do whatever my team needed. I was cheering them on. I was charting at bats, anything that I could do in the dugout, catching some bullpens. And I was just ready to do whatever my team needed. I took myself out of the equation and just was thinking, what can I do to be the best teammate today for them? And that's really where my success came from.
Yeah, and people don't realize that that first game you were brought in to pinch hit, right? So when Coach Glasgow calls your number, what was your mindset going to the plate?
Well, I mean, I've come into pinch hit quite a bit this semester, so I know when I'm coming in, there's base runners on, people in scoring position, and the main goal for me is to score them. So I was just coming up to bat thinking, all right, I need to get something deep in the field, deep in that outfield to score these runners. And Alexa, she came up because she batted before me, came up and told me a little bit about the pitcher, what she was throwing. I also was charting at bat, so I kind of knew what she was doing to our hitters in certain counts. And I just took that into my at bat, and I knew she was throwing a lot of change-ups, so the minute I saw that, I got ahead in the count, 2-0. I decided to just attack that first strike, and that's what I did.
2 home runs for you throughout that day, and then obviously the one that you had in Game 7, bases are loaded. Like, those are the moments that you live for as a player. Did you think in your mind, I'm about to hit this out of the park?
Absolutely not. Like I said, I was trying to take a lot of pressure off of myself for those at-bats. I was going up just trying to put something in play, move some runners. I was thinking swing the bat hard, get something deep in the field. And for me, after I'd hit that first home run in that first game of that day. I knew my second at-bat they were going hard in on me, so I took that approach into my first at-bat of the second game, and that's exactly what I got, and it was just, I mean, my brain was ready for it, my body was ready for it, so it was kind of an easier pitch to hit out because I knew I was sitting it.
Maddie Hayden makes that final out. She catches the ball. What was going through your head at that moment?
Just, it was a surreal moment. You know, I mean, obviously we go into every game, we want to win, we want to succeed. But we came into that game, you know, this would have potentially been 3 of our seniors' last day playing softball. And there was a lot of talk in the dugout about making sure that didn't happen. And, you know, as much as I know we were ahead when we made that last out, it's never over till it's over. So once that out was finally clinched and the game was officially over, it was unreal. Like, it was, I don't think anybody really, you know, we want to win every game, but nobody really could accept that we won till it was over. And I feel like it was a great moment for our team. And I mean, the celebration, you could tell we were all so excited.
Absolutely. It was crazy. People were screaming all towards the camera and everything. So it was definitely a great moment for you guys. What makes this team so special? You guys have 50 wins so far on the year. And obviously, y'all have won, you know, a crazy amount of Sun Belt Conference series consecutively. But you've now reached a different goal. You've gotten to a super regional. What has made this team so special to be able to make this goal be so obtainable?
There's a lot of factors that make this team what it is and how amazing it is. A lot of it has to do with our versatility. We can win games in different ways. We've got home run hitters. We've also got people who can lay down bunts and get on base without the ball leaving the infield. And I feel like that's what makes us so good is we don't have to rely on one asset to help us win. We've got multiple different assets to help us win. And I mean, we've got 7 pitchers. We've got a stacked pitching staff, and we've got players who can play multiple positions. We've got like Maddie, who plays outfield and infield. Stormy plays 3 different positions in the infield. We've got multiple utility players. We're very versatile in every aspect of the game. I think that's what really makes us successful. That, and I feel like our team chemistry also makes us very successful. When we play, it's not selfish. We play for each other, and I feel like that's what helps us win games when we're down. Or, you know, we came into that LSU game, we had a 6-0 lead, and 1 inning later, we're down 7-6. So, I mean, to persevere through that, it wasn't selfish. It was for each other. And I feel like that's what makes the difference in us winning that game.
What did you guys feel like after, you know, building up that lead and then all of it goes away, like you said, in the matter of an inning? Like, was it like, oh, man, like, it's just their day, it's their game? Or did you guys just say, let's lock back in and see what happens?
For us, if there's one thing that UL softball is going to do, we're going to hit. So for us to put up 6 runs in that game, it did take a bunch of weight off of our shoulders, but we've seen LSU, this would have been our 4th game this year off of them. They're very familiar with us. We're very familiar with them. So for them to come back, it wasn't expected. I feel like we did get a little too relaxed with that 6-run lead, but I definitely think there was no doubt in our minds that we couldn't score the runs back to get us ahead in that game. And I mean, that's what it showed, the versatility of our team. We had 9 hits by the end of that game, and that's one thing we're known for. We will hit that ball.
And essentially, too, you guys, throughout this particular season, in certain games when you were down, I think 3 runs or more, I think the stat was that you guys were like 1-10. So essentially, you know, we are up there in the press box and we're looking at that and we're like, we don't know. We don't know what could happen. We know this team can fight. We know this team can battle. But the numbers just, you know, aren't going in their favor. So for you guys to get a victory like that, where you had to come back from behind like that, what do you think that's going to do not only for you guys going into the super regional, but just for this program in general?
I think it's going to do big things for us. Like I said, I feel like for that weekend, it was a little bit different. We were riding on, you know, 3 very, very important pieces of our program that could have been their last day. and none of us wanted that to happen. And I feel like that gave us that extra kick and that extra drive that we needed to come out of that regional successful. And I feel like we're going to keep going off of that into, Washington, and hopefully get to the World Series. I feel like that's the drive that we have. I mean, we're coming to practice, and everybody is so excited for everybody. Everybody is cheering on everyone's successes, and I feel like that's what we're going off of. We're not playing for ourselves. We're playing for everyone else. We're playing for our seniors, and that's what's making the difference for this program today and hopefully for next year as well.
What has Coach Glasgow been like over this past week? I know after the Sun Belt Championship that you guys won here, we were sitting right by him in the dugout. And for him, it was like no emotions. He was like, we expected to do this. Like, this is what we're supposed to do. This is the standard. But after winning that regional, he talked about being regional Glasgow. After that regional, I saw him smile, saw him laugh, cry, embrace his family. Just what has his emotions been like that you've seen over this past week?
I know he has been so happy and so excited. He's been taking a lot of phone calls this week, so we haven't been able to see him at practice much, but every time we do, he's got the biggest smile on his face, and he tells us how excited he is for us, and how thankful he is, and how grateful he is to have this team and things like that. I feel like for him, just finally getting past that one step, regionals, for us to finally break that cycle for him is amazing. And I know in an interview after the game, he was talking about what that meant for him and Jourdyn. Like, he's made a promise to keep that going for her. And I know that we want to do that for him as well. Make him get his last goal of getting to that World Series. That really means a lot to him and to us.
He got that Gatorade bath after the game. I don't think you guys had done that for any victory since I've been here. Just what was that moment like to see him finally get that and him to be able to enjoy it too?
It was amazing, like I said. I mean, he gives a lot to us. He comes out here. I mean, you see the machines we have. You see the work that we put in. He puts a lot into this program. So for him to finally get past that last step and getting into further into postseason, it's amazing. And I'm very happy for him. I'm happy for his family. I'm happy for our team. And I'm really excited to see what we have in store for us for the rest of this year.
And now you girls are on your way to Seattle to face off with number 7 Washington, a team that almost lost the game, right? McNeese had them on the ropes, up 6-0, heading to the 7th inning, and that team rattled off 7 runs to come from behind and secure the victory. What have you seen? Because obviously you guys have had time to look at them, study them on film, and know what you guys are facing. What have you seen that team does really well? And it's something that you guys are saying, like, in order for us to win, we have to neutralize this, or we have to stop that.
For us, I mean, they've got a bunch of seniors that are clutch. They do. And that was showed in that regional against McNeese. So for us, I feel like the main thing that we can do is we just got to go out there and out-hit them. We need to get the momentum into our dugout and keep it there for the rest of the game. Like, if we can do that, then I feel like we could be very successful. I know that they're going to hit, we're going to hit too. We just need to do what makes UL us. We got to hit, we've got to put our pitchers in there, trust them, trust the defense, and it's small steps. If we don't make the game bigger than it is, I feel like that we can come out very successful.
Do you feel like because of the regular season schedule that you guys had, facing so many top 25 programs, facing so many top 10 programs, that this game is not necessarily something where you can just say, oh, we've done this before, but it's something where you don't feel like this is the hugest of hugest stages, like you've played a team of that caliber already multiple times this season?
Absolutely. I feel like the tough schedule that we had at the beginning of the season, it did a lot for this team. I know we didn't come out on top in a lot of those games, but for us to have young players, like I said, the majority of our team is freshmen and sophomores, which to have those young players come in at the start of the season, and that's the competition that they're coming in to face when they're just figuring out softball and figuring out their swings. We're figuring out the lineup on the field, and what we're doing with our pitchers and all of that. For us to go through all of that, persevere through all that while playing the best teams in the nation at the time, I feel like that did a lot for us coming in and playing, the same teams later in season. We finally know who we are. We know we're in our swings. We know our pitching staff. We know our defense. And I feel like having those struggles at the beginning of the season has made us so much stronger for this last part.
Have you guys played any late night games like this? I mean, start time is 9 p.m. our time, 10 p.m. their time. They have game 2 set for, I think, 7 o'clock their time, 6 o'clock our time. Like, have you guys played any game like that late?
I don't think so. I know we probably have played, I think the latest may have been a 7 o'clock game, maybe. I'm not too sure about it. But I don't think I'm that worried about it. Once we get up there, get acclimated to the time adjustments, I feel like we'll be fine. We're very used to playing the game. Once we get our rest in, I feel like we'll be fine.
Okay. How much of this trip is, obviously you're going up there for a business trip, but how much of this team is also saying, hey guys, we're going up here to make memories. Like, this is our, seniors, the 3 seniors that we have. Even if we go to the Women's College World Series, like, this is the only time that we're going to go to Seattle. How much of this is it saying that we're trying to make memories as much as we're trying to go and win the Super Regional as well?
Absolutely. We actually already have plans once we get up there. We're going to watch Alexa's brother play in a baseball game up there. So we've got stuff planned already. I'm excited to make memories up there. I know Seattle is the heart of Starbucks, which our team loves Starbucks. So everybody is already excited to go get their drinks from there. So I'm really excited to make memories. This is the last Super Regional we'll have with our seniors. So every step we're taking, it's a last step for somebody else. So I'm really excited to make memories with them and let them enjoy the last few weeks, hopefully, of their career. So I'm really excited to get to Seattle.
What's your Starbucks order?
I've got 2 different drinks, but normally for me, I like their refreshers. I get a strawberry acai refresher with lemonade, and I don't get any strawberries in it, and I get light ice so I can get all of the flavor in the drink. But I feel like everybody gets that on our team.
It's professional when it comes to the Starbucks orders. Have you, I guess, thought about the moment of being in the Women's College World Series and then obviously winning it too? Have you thought about it, and now that it's even closer than before, just how real is that moment becoming for you?
Definitely. I feel like, me personally, I have done a lot of thinking about it. We're weeks away from it, and we've already gotten through step 1. We're so close to it. I'm really excited, and it would mean the world to get to the World Series and even win it too. That would be. That doesn't happen for everybody. That's why it's the World Series. There can only be one winner, and there's so many different teams who fight every year to just get into the tournament and just to get into postseason. So to make it that far would just mean the world to me, and I know it would mean the world to everybody else on the team, especially our seniors. Letting them end on such a high note, like, that would be amazing.
There was a stat that I saw, or I guess a program nugget that we saw on Twitter. Evan Roberts put it out there. Shout outs to him for putting it out there. It was 557,000 people that watched Game 7 between you guys and LSU. With the year that we've seen in women's sports, obviously LSU winning a national championship for women's basketball, and 9 million people were watching that game. Just what does it say to the sport of softball that it's growing and that people are watching it more? What does it say about this sport?
It means a lot to everybody. I know a couple years ago, if not last year, the College World Series, the softball one, was getting more views than the baseball one at the time. And, women's sports, to have that growth, especially for softball, it's amazing to, have little kids who can get on ESPN and watch us play and to create dreams, to make it where we are, to be where we are. I feel like that does a lot for our sport. It grows the fan base, it grows the support, it grows the money that our sport can now have, you know, maybe further get larger professional teams, things like that. So any type of recognition that softball can get, I feel like it's big for the sport.
My last question for you, if there was one thing that you could tell young Jourdyn when you were first getting into the sport of softball about what you're seeing now, what you're experiencing now, what would that be and why?
It would definitely be that, I mean, it's not going to be an easy journey. You're going to cry a lot. You're gonna be tested a lot mentally, physically, and you just got to keep going. That's what I would tell myself. Just keep a smile on your face, keep being the person that you are, and just keep pushing through whatever tests, whatever battles you have to go through. Keep going.
Jourdyn, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.